we haven't seen anything what the guys have been doing. I've been sneaking around in the hackerspace and watching how the teams have been working, and now we see how the teams has succeeded. And the first team is what? Solomon, Olami, Mohammed, FB, Sheen.
No, that's spam.
Spam? Okay. We didn't manage to get that out. Okay. Duty quick hack. All right.
Okay, hello, welcome everybody. My project was cute big hack, hybrid RSS. So this is that I started about a month ago when I heard about this competition, and then started to do a couple hours of week of QML hacking and doing my competence ramp up for the QML stuff. So the hardware that I will be demoing this one is the Lenovo touchscreen hardware. I use the MeeGo 1.1.90.8 image in there, and the QML and Qt 4.7.2. So this is kind of a hybrid application, so it works in mouse and touch modes. It reads RSS streams, has also the Finnish text-TV, and then it has a web view, so it also works as a web browser. As a screenshot, I will be running the live demo later, and some of the interesting implementing details or the problems that I ran into when I was doing this. The cursor was bothering me, so when I used the touch mode, then the cursor always appeared there, so I made a little hack in my application viewer, so when you use touch, the cursor is automatically hidden, and when you start moving your mouse, the cursor appears again. And there's a code snippet that I was using. Second weird thing currently QML web view is that it doesn't allow self-signed HTTPS URLs. So I did some hacking on the C++ side, and they ignored the certificates. After that hack, the web pages started to work. So of course you're just ignoring the man-in-the-middle attack possibility, but life is at the moment. Then I did some OpenGL ES performance tuning. So my application is rectangle and it's not transparent, so I can do a bit tweaking, which gives me a couple of more FPS on the target hardware. All these source codes will be available in the wiki pages, or actually are there already. Then I also included one Easter egg in my application. So there's a Control-E, which demonstrates a couple of the things that are not in the main line. So the QML raw multitouch events and some lib shader plugin. Actually, I could demonstrate the application at this point. There's also RPM packages available in wiki pages that I will be showing later. So there's an application in here that you can start. Hopefully it works. So basically, it reads some RSS services like Finnish ones, Yle, Digi.tv, Ampari, and the Engadget ones. There's a text-TV which has all kinds of, it accepts touch events, so you can just click on the page and it goes there. You can type the numbers in here and it should go there, so I can type it fast enough. Then, yeah, web browser, so you can basically, let's open some link in here. So when I use touch, the mouse cursor that is here, there, it just disappears, and then I can go up and down, scroll it. One double tap to zoom, let's see, and unzoom. And for the Easter egg stuff, goes here. First finger, you get MeeGo icon there, and when you put the second finger there, you get a multitask row event, so you can go anywhere you want. What's next? Yeah, further development ideas. Maybe add some configuration UI, which is lacking at the moment. I didn't have time to make it, but it should be only like one days of work. And maybe add some better RSS feed also, because it's missing from there. Yeah, this runs on multiple targets. So in addition, for the MeeGo netbook, I was using the N900. I have it running here too, so it runs pretty nicely. And I also tested it on MeeGo 6, Linux, Mac OS, and Windows 7 multitouch. Yeah, and there was an interesting thing that by default Windows 7 multitouch didn't work. I need to add some attributes to the viewport, but this was not documented anywhere. It was an error and trial kind of thing. The RPM packages are available in that URL, and there's an even shorter URL here if you are interested. There's more info, YouTube videos, source codes in that Wikipage. That's my application.
Great, thank you. Thank you. And the next team is. Do I really need a mic? Oh, I know. Okay. And the next team is quick and dirty, cute face.
So, maybe it works. Perhaps. Oh. So, I actually have to clarify a bit that the name of the project of Cute Face, it sounded quite nice at the time when I was testing the first product with the female face. But then I actually realized that because I have to demonstrate with my own, so maybe it's not so cute anymore. Which cables should I? It was. So, just to say a few words. So, the project itself is about the hack-a-thon. So I actually spent like maybe 10% of the time, maybe a bit more, just Googling around and actually seeing what the AI drone is and what kind of other projects there has been. Actually found out that the Kate did the Mars drone and there was quite well documented in it and a lot of Wikipedia and blogs had written about it as well. But however, in this case, as I didn't have the MeeGo reference platform or any touch device, so that wasn't actually directly applied to my use. So what I actually did, that I had this EE PC 901 and I installed netbook MeeGo on it. Well, that actually went quite nice, and I even managed to get yesterday the Qt creator working on it, and I even managed to deploy the application on it using just control here. So that's quite nice. But then the fact actually came out that negative platform isn't that well supported, so I had some issues with AI drone as it's actually using the ad hoc VLAN. So for some reason my VLAN adapter didn't work so well with it. Let's take the device out here. So you will have to bear with me a bit. I was actually spending here until 3 a.m. so I slept back there. So I might be in the sharpest condition at the moment, but I'm trying to manage with it. And I even broke this one a few times. Okay, let's see how it works now. So I will first demonstrate the application, and then I will just give you the URL. Actually, the code is also in the Google code, and in the Google code there is code.google.com/p/Qt-drone, and there's also some YouTube videos, which is just presently not been so working as they should be. So, what the project has the name Face on it. The idea is to use face recognition to control the AI drone itself. And I actually had a few issues with that one as well yesterday night. The biggest issue was that I wasn't able to convert the image format between the Qt and OpenCV. I got it like working in one way, but anyway, so what I did then that I set up a UDP server on the control application. So in the application I have the control application, and then I have this face application. Face application is done with Python, and using the reference application from OpenCV, this face detect. So that was actually done today at 10 a.m. forward. So, well, let's see what happens. Yeah, so let's start the application. I'll first demonstrate the UI control stuff. So, weirdly, seems to work. That's the first time when it actually works. It got me quite surprised. Okay, well, that worked. So let's try again if it works now better. Nope. Oh, okay, now it's the demo effect.
If it puts the red lights, I think that you need to reset this emergency status with the UDP frame.
Yeah, I actually didn't have time to do the proper work for it, so let's try again. Anyway, it's a bit painful for you as well to listen to me, but I'm quite sure that I'm also feeling something here, so I just wonder why, because you're all more or less men, and you're all of our geeks. So, let's see. So, oh, shoot. Oh man. It's the best demo ever. Well, yeah, I'll show the video, and anyway, I'll just demonstrate the OpenCV stuff here. So, from the video, you will also get the picture what it is about. So, anyway, the short idea is that I have the OpenCV application with Python here, and it should recognize my face, and the blue rectangle is like the inner circle, and when the red one is inner side, it should go backward, and when I lean forward, it should go the opposite direction. But anyway, this is not any more cute face. And in the middle, it should stay put. And it was kind of a working, but as a reminder for myself, I have to admit that maybe the Python was a better solution for this face recognition for the prototyping phase. You will have to do a lot of adjustments there. And anyway, let's play the video. I hope there's nothing evil here when I open it. Yeah, let's see what kind of kittens we have. Do I actually have a network connection here? Yeah, MeeGo Summit, I suppose. Yeah. Well, still, I had nothing working yesterday night at, or today morning at 1 a.m. So it has been quite fascinating morning hours, I have to admit. And the whole application was actually created like in the last maybe half an hour or so before I went to bed because I was like totally fresh. So anyway, so code.google.com/p/qdrum, and I have some project descriptions on the first page, but then I as well have the wiki page, which contains some miscellaneous development time notes where I did. So I tried to document all the links where I were visiting and collected the information, and then I made some kind of technical thing so that I can actually do it again in later use. So anyway, let's see if the videos work. So. Can I get this one to full screen? There is an old version, so that was actually just taking the center point of the rectangle and just checking the points. But you might see the video there, so it was actually moving. But there's a lot of work to be done on the face recognition side, and well, it also crashed at the end.
Yeah, great. That was real demo. We all know about demo effects, and that happens sometimes. Okay, and next team to present the work would be Team Symbio, distant remake of old-fashioned Commodore 64.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay, I'm Ville Ranki, and this is Ville Kankainen, and we are Team Symbio. let's see what kind of demo effects we can do. First of all, I'd like to show you a short slideshow about what we are doing.
You're kind of standing with your laptop in front of the projector.
All right. So the project name is not on the screen. I wonder why.
Mr. Murphy sends his best regards.
Okay, now it's again on the wrong screen. Yes, good. Yes. So the project is Drone Taxi, and if anyone remembers Space Taxi on Commodore 64 and other 8-bit platforms, that's the inspiration for our game. So the idea is to fly from one pad to other pads and fly as many passengers as possible from one pad to another. And also we made some other flight game modes like racing and free flight. And the idea is that we have these AR toolkit 2D barcode pads on the floor, and the drone recognizes them. It has been written on Qt for price, running on desktop Linux, MIMO and MeeGo without any source code changes. And thanks to Kate Alhola once again for Mark for doing the hard work of doing the video and control part for AR drone. And well, there are the libraries we use: AR drone, which of course AR Toolkit Plus, and eSpeak for speech synthesis, and SDL for joystick. And this is our team. I made the code myself, and Ville Kankainen here has been helping at Meegathon, porting the game on MeeGo, including these dependencies that were not packaged already. In Sila you made the graphics. And the drone was bought by Symbio for this project. And we still haven't broken it. And finally, some MeeGo propaganda. It would be nice to say that this wouldn't be possible on Android or iOS, or at least with in this time frame. So, and especially very difficult to do the same for iPhone. Okay, that's about the presentation. So everybody wants to see the demo. Here we have an MeeGo device. So what is this? Lenovo something.
IdeaPad.
Lenovo IdeaPad. And we also noticed the problem with ad hoc networking on MeeGo, so we are using an external Wi-Fi.
But it doesn't fit now with the display.
Oh, really?
But I can basically show it from here.
Yeah.
We'll take the mic. I can
From it.
Okay. don't touch the touch UI. In here we have application called drone taxi, so we just launch it from here. Nice. Intro. Go for the actual application. So using the camera images here, we are able to start the different game modes. Let's go for the settings. Select that we have only 3 paths. And we are ready to go. I can't play this with one hand, so.
Okay, I can explain what happens on the screen.
It's already happened.
Okay, now the passenger told him to fly to Path 2, please. And now Ville is flying there and hits the land button. And now the device shows video from the drone bottom camera. So when he flies over the path, it should see. Yeah.
Could you turn around so that we can see the screen here?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, now it's much better.
Thanks.
So the player has 2 minutes time to transport as many passengers as possible. Do we have a demo effect?
We also have demo effect.
Yes? Okay, it used to work. Okay, so
But do we have a video?
we have a video.
But let's try again.
Yes,
No,
but
again, back to.
at least it's already over Path 2. So you can use the on-screen joystick for controlling more arrow keys, which is also quite nice. And you can connect a PlayStation 3 pad to the computer and use flying it. That's the easiest. Okay, let's show the video. Start. Or we could fly with my laptop.
Yeah, we can try that one.
Let's disconnect from the device. I don't know if we are running out of time, but
And then you can show the stuff if you want, like this.
oh.
They did it, but so if you have something to
Well, it's
It's on a screen already.
building. Yeah, okay. Yes, the nice intro animation. Drone taxi 2 minutes, and all right. It says Path 1, please. Fine. So that's the bad one. Then I put it in landing mode and it lands on the back. Landing mode, and here we have to fly to that too. Normally you would make a bit more challenging arrangement of that. That one, please. Okay, I think everyone gets the point now, so maybe we will continue. So let's fly the drone here and take a look at the audience. You can wave to it. All right. Yeah, so I think that concludes our demonstration, and well, we have some questions to answer about things. When did you start the project? How did it go? Well, to be honest, 90% of the code was made before MeeGo Summit, but you know the last 10% are the most difficult. It was a couple of months ago when I heard that this would be the theme of this Meegathon. And after that I didn't know if it would be possible to do this. And so I started prototyping on desktop PC. First I got the Markdown to run on desktop, then I started experimenting with AR toolkit. And finally I bought the first version to MIMO. I don't have any MeeGo hardware available. So of course, while developing I started implementing new features, and now we have 2 game modes and a lot of other nice features. And what fun game to play. Did you meet any obstacles during the project? Well, yes, mostly weird issues with the AI drone controlling, which I still probably haven't figured out. Sometimes it just slams into the ground and does some other things. But these issues are under control now. Yeah. So most of the code was done before this, but here we started both into MeeGo, including building the dependency libraries. That was done by Ville Kankainen. And also there were still some critical bugs to be fixed before we could do a demo like this. It seems there are still some bugs. And ideas for further development. Well, first release this thing and officially. I already released the source code on the IRC channel, but please don't distribute it yet. I will put it to some real source control service next week. More ways to control the drone, for example, V-mode might be nice, and add some kind of altitude control, because currently it just flies on the constant altitude. That's one design decision, so it would be easier. All right. Any questions?
You need to productize it and go to Meegathon and start business.
Why not? Why not?
Oh, like really?
Yeah.
Like,
Are you an investor?
You already published the source code, so you are screwed.
Yeah. Well, free as in speech doesn't mean free as in beer. Okay. Well, thank you.
But by the way, even it's published source code, nothing prevents it even to sell like in Hobby Store or somewhere else. It's not.
Nothing prevents me from selling it to Hobby Store.
But
yeah, but the scene also needs to work, not just technical.
yeah.
Okay, and then the last demo effect will be presented by a team called Gaming Freedom, and then the light went off is the name of the project. All right. Use that mic here. So like a Madonna style. Yeah. I was backwards.
There we go.
Okay. Good.
Try and get as little demo out of this as we can. See if this works. That would be nice. Okay. Our little project here is called Blue Arm, technically. We're Team Gaming Freedom because that's what we stand for. The thing we've been doing, or attempting to do, this weekend is create a new game in 24 hours. As with such things, that didn't quite work out, but what we did instead, what we did instead was complete one of the games, and I will get back to that shortly. First, I want to describe what we're actually trying to do. The world of gaming, as perceived by people out in the wider gaming game creation industry, they all seem to think that the world looks like this, where you have a bunch of people who make some games and a bunch of people who play those games. Except, of course, the world actually looks like this, where you got some people who make games and most of them also play games. And then there's a bunch of people who play games instead of also making them. But that's how we see the world. And it's our belief that this means that you get a distribution chain which looks like this, where somebody comes up with an idea and we need to help them bring this idea to fruition. So we create this little tool called Blue Creator, which is a very heavily game-specific integrated development environment, basically. Then we need to help them get these games that they create to the public. It's all very straightforward. And then somehow, my thing seems to be a little bit
Yes, there we go with the demo effect. There you go there. Right. Sorry. Doesn't want to stay on that page. Don't mind. We want to then enable people to go out and play these games, which is where this little tool called Gluon Player comes in, where it's a client which runs on a whole bunch of different devices. So you've got one on the desktop, you have various different types on the desktop as well. And you have one on tablets, you have one on handsets, and so on. And obviously this very much is essentially what the world in game creation looks like today, except there are certain disconnections in there. Steam, for example, is unable to do the first bit. It can only do the last bit of it. And Unity and so on, they only do the first bit, not the distribution part. We sort of do all of it. And what none of them do is enable the players of games to give feedback in a consistent, simple manner to those who make the games, but also those who then make the games need to be able to give feedback on that feedback, and so on. Comments, ratings, even donations. It's a type of feedback as well, yeah. Nothing says you've done a good job more than a bit of money in your account. And that's what we're trying to do. So, what's with those likes? We wanted to create a game. Some of you have already heard this coming around in there, so I'll explain it shortly as well. This game is about the end of the world, where planets die out and you have to help them survive. Unfortunately, we didn't manage to finish it, so we did something else instead. So the lights didn't quite go out, but so what we did instead was ensure that we had a Gluon Player touch-friendly version, which works on the tablet. So we have it running on the Intel Tablet UX image. We've got it running on there. Obviously, demo effect again. We can't show it because these two projectors don't have HDMI ports. And the tablets that Intel provide people with don't have anything else. We can. Right. Yeah. Yeah, we're running low on time, yeah? Yeah. All right. But those who want to see it, stand up. You're easy to spot. Him. He's got it running on the tablet. Go over, poke him when you want to see it. Theoretically. And Gluon Creator, the tool you use to build your games, is running on MeeGo Netbook. It doesn't run on a tablet because it isn't a finger-friendly tool. Because there's much too much on the screen at any one point in time to work on a tablet. So what we have essentially been doing these last 24 hours is the final sprint towards our next release. In the next couple of days, it says available from tomorrow. It's not entirely true. It is actually available from today. It's all free. It's gaming freedom. So it's all open source. It's available on the KDE project's website. But Alpha 2 will be released in the next couple of days, and that means that Gluon Create has reached a point in time where anyone can grab it, sit down and create a game using it. That's what our level Alpha 2 means. Lots of ideas for the future, of course. We have many ideas. We haven't reached the utopia that I described earlier, but we're aiming for it. We're hoping to get a Google Summer of Code project, which is designed to help us reach this point. So over the next 3 months, and it seems very likely that we may actually get it. So yeah, there is a project which will help us reach the level of gaming freedom that we wanted, where you have a distribution system in place, which means that you directly from inside Gluon Creator can click a couple of buttons, and the game you created ends up on gamingfreedom.org, and players on various platforms can start up their Gluon players and get these games and play them, and comment on them, and give you feedback in other wonderful ways like Flatter and PayPal, and I believe Rovio had something that they wanted to pitch on this topic as well here. But a system whereby you can do network billing on your mobile phone, for example. Nokia has a similar system in Oru, which we're hoping to look into as well. But yeah, that's the immediate future. We also have interesting ideas like integrating SMARTS, which is a powerful artificial intelligence system based on behavior trees, which is very often in the game building community at the moment. And yeah, so demo time. Let's see if we can get this thing right. That would be nice. This little tool is then Gluon Creator, and I'm going to quickly load up a game called Electron Apocalypse, named in favor of the named in style of our release naming scheme, which is based on the order in which various types of particles were discovered. So the first release was X-ray, which is the first real particle which was discovered, and then electrons were the second, so alpha 2 electron. And the idea here is that you have a view in which you show the current view from your game scene's camera on the scene as it looks now. Oops. It was an accident. And you've then got your scene view, which is your current scene as it looks, as the hierarchy looks, where you have a bunch of game objects. This doesn't look like a hierarchy, it is in fact wrong. And all of these have a number of components which you add from this pane up here just by dragging and dropping it over, and then they show up here. And the idea is that your game object in itself is a very, very stupid object. It has a position, a scale, and a rotation, and nothing much else. So to make it actually do stuff, such as, for example, show some text, such as, for example, our menu here, which is done in QML. We use QML for in-game user interfaces in Gluon, which, interestingly enough, makes us extremely powerful, more so than most commercial game engines out there, because they all have interesting ways of doing game UIs. Anyone who's ever worked with, for example, the Steam engine will know this, the Half-Life engine. And then obviously other types of, for example, the keyboard input and the camera controller, which sets the position of your camera and other things on there. Music system, so you've got a sound emitter, which, funnily enough, emits sound. And you have your project, which is very simply a bunch of assets. Now, this seems very, quite straightforward. The idea here is that none of this stuff needs to be compiled. So, to distribute a game built using Gluon Creator, all you've got to do is create a zip file and stick it somewhere, and anyone can download it and play it. There's no compilation involved. It's all interpreted. So all the game logic is written in CubeScript, which is, as much as you know, quite powerful. Now, I know also that some of you will wrinkle your nose at this horrible thing called JavaScript, and most of you will have your experience with JavaScript from the web, where it is the single most horrible thing in the world. Obviously, it's not really the way JavaScript really works, and yes, I know there are interesting issues in this language which look like C but isn't. But embrace it. It's a very, very powerful language for exactly game programming. What it allows us to do is create a system whereby we can guarantee with very, very little effort that the scripting engine is available on every platform where we ship, and that this scripting engine doesn't have random little quirks where it may or may not function like you expect it to. So for example, people have suggested to us Ruby and Python and other much more popular languages than JavaScript, which would be nice, but anyone who's ever tried to tell a normal user to install a Python interpreter on Windows will know pain. So we decided to run with CubeScript because it's there. You don't have to do anything. Cube ships with it, it's there, it's guaranteed to be there. So all of this really boils down to what I was saying before. You've always got your game able to run anywhere there's a Gluon player. And that allows us then to create this system where you, from Gluon Creator, can just click a couple of buttons, upload it to Gaming Freedom, and have people download those games without any real effort. And yeah, that's the future talk, as I mentioned before. The actual distribution part isn't ready, but the creation part and much of the playing part is ready. So that's what the next release cycle is about. So that's the idea for the future. There are many others, obviously, but those are big. And as I was saying, if you want to see it running on a tablet, drop by, we'll introduce you to the Weta. Let's see, where was my thing? No. Yeah, session play.
You didn't get to play yet.
No, I didn't actually press play. Oh, sorry. That's very simple, isn't it? There we go. Press play. Play. Play game. I believe we have the demo effect, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, no, there we go. Right, new game. Have I broken it? Haven't I?
Just play stop and play and let's go.
Right. I think I changed the enter key. I'm not entirely sure what happened.
Why delete?
I don't know.
You need key return there.
Oh! Right, yes. Yes, that's the one I changed. There we go. That should do. Alright. Oh! Okay, that was a good start. Anyway. I should probably let them eat me tonight. Yes. Yeah, they do that. Die. Anyway, so yeah, that's a lot of dinner for you. And obviously, all the and in proper Steve Jobs fashion, it's available right now. Get on to projects.ke.org/projects/gluon, and it's all there for you. Oh, sorry, no, that's not the one. Never mind. Gamingfreedom.org. Get in there. It's there's links and everything from that site. It's easier to remember as well. But yes, there you go.
All right, thank you. And let's give a big hands for all the competitors. Jussi, Kate and I, we don't definitely have an easy job to find out the winners, but we try to manage on that task. The next topic will be the very interesting panel conducted by Professor Tommi Mikkonen. But my suggestion here is that let's take a 10-minute break so you can take a drink, perhaps coffee, take a toilet, and we